Jackson back with you at Song Mentor, and today's rockin' selection is Indiana Girl. Well, no, it's not. But it would be Indiana Girl had Tom Petty and the Boys not changed the title to Mary Jane's Last Dance. This song was written and recorded around the time the Wildflowers LP was released, and it reached number 14 on the Billboard Hot 100. It's a great tune, and when asked, the producer and guitar player Mike Campbell, when asked about the possible drug references with Mary Jane, he said, you know, take it the way you like it. It's a song about an Indiana girl, but if you want to read that kind of influence into it, I mean, art is in the eye of the beholder, or the ear of the beholder in this case. Here's Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Mary Jane's Last Dance. This is one of those great opening riffs that a guy like Tom Petty comes up with. It's really basically three simple chords, but it's how you play them and the feel with which you play them that makes them have that slinky kind of, guitar players love this kind of stuff. And so we're going to get into all the chords here. There's a few more in the song. It's not a difficult song. There's some neat riffs in it and some neat progressions. And when we learn the chords, we're going to learn, in the case of the A chord in particular, 4 different spots on the neck to play that chord that Mike Campbell uses in the guitar work in the song. Okay, here are the chords you need for Mary Jane's Last Dance. You need an open A minor chord. Now, just for a moment in the song, in the intro in particular, you need an A minor 7. So all you're going to do is take that A minor and add your pinky to the G note of the first string. You need an open D chord. And then we're going to play around with sus chords again here. So to play a D sus2, you just lift off your second finger. And to play a D sus4, you just flatten out your third finger to include, again, that G note. So D, D sus2, D sus4. And then just the high end of a G chord, open G chord. You need an E minor, and then you need an A chord, like so. We're also going to play the G chord in a different spot. The A chord is going to be played here. It's going to be played here, and normally we would play those 3 notes as the high string notes of an A chord, but in this case we're going to leave off that E string note. We're going to play an open E and then put our second finger on the 5th fret of the 2nd string and our third finger on the 6th fret of the 3rd string. It's a variation on A. We're going to play this A up here, which is just a D chord, moved up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 frets. An A chord there. And then finally an A chord way up here. These are just 3-note chords, by the way, the top 3 strings on all these. This one, and this one. And with this one, it's first finger on the 12th fret of the high E string, and then 2nd and 3rd fingers on the 14th fret of the 3rd and 2nd strings. And then finally a G chord. We said that this was an A chord, a variation on A, where we play the D chord up at the 9th fret. So if we drop that down to, we have a G chord there. So we have the G chord here and the G chord there. So just to review quickly, A minor 7, open D, D sus2, D sus4, a G chord here, and a G chord there, E minor, and then finally an A chord, open A here, this one with the high E string open, the D formation at the 9th fret, and then the one way up here. And those are the chords you need for Mary Jane's Last Dance. All right, so we begin with an A minor chord, and we're going to hammer up to that A minor chord. And the secret of playing this intro is not to play the whole chord. You have the right feel, but if you're not limiting it the way Tom Petty does, you don't get that kind of slinky intro feel to it. So what you want to do here is concentrate on just the third and second strings. That's it. And there's the first bit. You can see him. I'm just hammering down on that A minor chord, starting open. And all I'm picking here are strings 3 and 2. And the second part is interesting because my hands instinctively go to a G chord because that's the second chord in the progression. However, if you notice, if I'm picking strings 3 and 2, a G chord is, I'm not fingering any notes. There is no fingering on the second and third strings of an open G chord, so it becomes... But I'm going to move my fingers there anyway, because that's just habit, and I think it's good. For later in the song, you are going to play more of the whole chord. And then we go to a hammer up on the D chord. Now what I'm hearing here, what Tom Petty is doing, is the very last is a D sus4. So it's like that. And then back to the A minor. So we get... And that's first time around. Second time through it changes a little bit because we open up with an A minor 7 chord. Same hammer, but that strum down is not just an A minor, it's an A minor 7. Let's take a closer look at the right hand for this little sequence. Okay, that's the slinky little intro to Mary Jane's Last Dance. Well, I'm a huge Tom Petty fan, but one of the frustrating things with him at times is his tuning is off pitch a little bit for recordings. So if you're trying to glean anything off the original recording of this song and you're trying to play along with it, you're going to be frustrated because it's a half step out. And so it's just, you know, you're just not in tune with the recording. And you sound bad, but it's not you. It's just that you're out with the recording. I should have mentioned that the intro actually continues on for 2 more bars. The intro, just the guitar is what we learned there. Then we're going to continue on. And the second time through, what I'm hearing him do on the D chord is go from a D sus2 to a D. So the first 2 times through, when the guitar was playing on its own, before the drums and the band kicks in, we play a D, we hammer up to a D, and then play a D sus4. And then the third and fourth times, okay? But in any event, it's 4 times through. So we're going to play this intro 4 times through. And then we're going to civil down the chords to a kind of a normal. It's not to say you can't put the odd hammer on in and the odd sus chord in. I mean, this is one of those chords that Petty himself's not going to play the same way twice. And each night's going to be slightly different. The essential feel, though, is that now you're into more of a full chord strum and more of a straight strum to provide the background for the vocals. Okay, so knowing what we know there, and because those chords do not change, let's do a playthrough of the intro, 4 bars of intro, and then we'll get into a verse. Keep in mind that after the first verse, there's 2 bars of harmonica solo that we'll just play through. And then there's a second verse, and then there's 2 bars of sort of back to the intro that we play through, and that's as far as we'll go, because at that point we get to the E minor, Last Dance for Mary Jane, and the chorus. So let's do that playthrough.
She grew up in an Indiana town, had a good looking mama who was never around. But she grew up tall and she grew up right with them Indiana boys on the Indiana nights. Well, she moved down here at the age of 18. She blew the boys away, it was more than they'd seen. I was introduced and we both started grooving. She said, I dig you, baby, but I gotta keep moving on. Keep moving on.
Second time through, the ending's a little bit different. Feel summer creeping in, tired of the stand again. So this time he hits the A quickly here and then slides up all the way up to that D formation A, and then finishes on the G chord there, and that takes us back into okay, so let's just play through at normal speed the chorus. All right, let's just slowly walk through the chorus here. This is where we come in with the E minor chord. Last dance for Mary Jane, one more time to kill the pain. So that's the timing on coming in with the first of the A formations. Last dance for Mary Jane, one more time to kill the pain. And then we come to this one. And what he does here is slides up to it. So we're alternating, kind of picking there between the third and first strings. And that's the 6th fret. Remember, this is that modified A chord here. And so we've got an open E string. Last dance with Mary Jane, one more time to kill the pain. And then he slides up to this one. And then finally from this one up to this one. So slowly, last dance with Mary Jane, one more time to kill the pain. Second time through, the ending's a little bit different. Feel summer creeping in, tired of the stand again. So this time he hits the A quickly here and then slides up all the way up to that D formation A, and then finishes on the G chord there, and that takes us back into okay, so let's just play through at normal speed the chorus. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Last dance with Mary Jane, one more time to kill the pain. I feel summer creeping in and I'm tired of this town again.
Let's talk about the guitar solo. And two sections of it. The first section is that really catchy, familiar riff that that one played through 4 times. And then the second half of the solo was interesting because the tabs are all wrong on the internet. Everywhere you look, it's really hard to find a lesson on it. It's really hard to find an accurate playing of it. So I resorted to the old-fashioned way, listen to the song and try to see videos of Mike Campbell playing it. So I've got it pretty close. Something that I think you can work with for sure. So let's talk about the first part of that guitar solo, which is this riff. So we're going to bend here, and we've got our 3rd finger on the 3rd and 2nd strings at the 7th fret. So we're bending down. So it's a pick, and then we're on 4 and 3 at the 7th fret. Only the last note is a single note. Everything else is double string. And you can see where the bends are. So that's what's played, twice like that. Alright, second half of the guitar solo, I'm going to take my 2nd finger and slide it up to the 9th fret of the 3rd string. Then I'm going to pluck 3 and 2. 2 is open. And I'm going to hammer down with my 3rd finger on the 10th fret of the 2nd string. And then I'm going to play all 3 strings. And so right there I've got my 2nd finger on 9 of 3, my 3rd finger on 10 of 2, and the 1st string's open. The 1st string's staying open through this whole bit here. So now I'm going down from 10 to 8 there, from the 3rd finger to 1st finger on the 2nd string. So just a little riff there, wiggle on 10 when you get back to the 2nd string. And then we're back here again. This time I hammer up twice with my 1st finger and 3rd finger from 8 to 10 twice. Just those 3 notes again. Then he goes down here and plays that little sequence. And if you happen to catch the 1st string, it's not the end of the world. So the whole thing slowly. All right, let's put some pieces together and do a playthrough here. We'll go from, right after that first chorus, there's another little harmonica break, and right after that we get the 2nd verse. So we'll go from the 2nd verse into the chorus, and then into the guitar solo and finish there. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, I don't know, I've been told, never slow down, never grow old. Tired of screwing up, tired of going down, tired of myself, tired of this town. My, oh hell yes, honey, put on that pot of grass. Buy me a drink, sing me a song, take me as I come, cause I can't stay long. Last dance with Mary Jane, one more time to kill the pain. I feel something creeping in, and I'm tired of this town again.
All right, fine-tuning for Mary Jane's Last Dance. Well, I've given you everything I think you need for this song. The quirky little intro stuff that Tom Petty does himself and never does the same twice. Try to use just 2 or 3 strings with that, and then get into more of a full strum support during the verses. Some really cool guitar riffing, and kind of a neat solo that you don't find very often, so hopefully we got that close enough that you can enjoy playing it and feel comfortable playing it. A great tune, by the way, to jam with. The ending of the song is just takes off with the A minor G D progression over and over again till it fades, of course, on the studio recording. But this allows for some really great jamming at the end of the song. So have fun with this one. Mary Jane's Last Dance, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. We'll see you next time on Song Mentor.